everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Whitney's World podcast. I am your host, Whitney Morgan Ward, and I am so thankful that you have tuned in to this show today, wherever you're at on this planet. Thank you so much. Guys, this is episode number 43. This is absolutely insane. Over 9 months now, officially, of this podcast. I am so thankful to everyone for tuning in, for listening, for supporting, for tapping in every weekend to listen to what I have to say. If you've been along my journey since the beginning, I would love for you to hop over to YouTube. I would love for you, it would mean the absolute world to me, if you would just hop over to YouTube and you would write a comment, you would share something about something that you have really enjoyed listening to this podcast week after week after week. I want you guys to know that I am a completely different person than when I first started this podcast. I love this podcast. This podcast has literally given me life, and we're going to talk about all of the things today. We're going to talk about law of attraction. We are going to talk about vibration. We are going to talk about using your energy to expand yourself and to get you to where you want to go. Because I can tell you right now, that is what I have done in my life, and it is working. I am so thankful. And it is just a testament that when you focus and you have energy that moves you forward and you focus on what feels good to you, the things that you will be able to accomplish and the moves that you will make in your own world and your own life are going to be absolutely insane. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to Whitney's World. I am so happy to have you. I am so thankful that you have tuned in wherever you're at. I promise that I try every week to bring my absolute best. I don't know where this podcast is going, but I can tell you right now, it is going to continue to go. I am just every week continuing to expand my knowledge. I continue to learn. I continue to focus on my growth, myself, and my spiritual journey so that I can share a message with all of you, and I can teach you what I've learned. I've been on an insane journey in the past 2 years, but really the past 9 months is where I've seen the most growth. And it is because of this podcast. This podcast was a calling that I felt, and I had to answer the call. And from answering the call, just learned a lot. I was able to start to find myself. I was able to find who I am and what I want, what I don't want. I was able to just continue to grow and to be the best version of myself. And so I really want to just talk to you guys about this today. I want to share this beautiful message. I want to encourage you. I want you to know that you are your own light, and it doesn't matter how many people listen. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you. What matters is how you feel. What matters is what makes you happy. And what matters is continuing to push through, continuing at any cost, at all costs, to continue to grow and evolve. And eventually, you will get to where you want to go. Eventually, you're going to be where you want to be. And what happens so many times, and I've heard this, is that so many people end up giving up right before their success. And I don't know if you listening to this have your own podcast, but what I can say is after 9 months, 43 episodes, I would imagine that most people think they should have made it. But for me and my journey, and what's so beautiful is I have made it because I've made it with myself. I've shown myself that I am good enough. And if I continue to just keep going and I continue to keep learning and I continue to fill my own cup, that's what brings me joy. And I have people that reach out to me and they just say thank you. And they just say, like, you are shining your light. Like, keep going. Don't give up, because so many people give up. And like, if I could teach you anything along my journey, is the amount of growth that I've had just from pushing play. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I have stressed for days, and I just learned that stress doesn't help. What helps is just being me. What helps is just showing up. What helps is just sharing something, just being present, just giving any type of knowledge, because my life has gotten better. And I can tell you, when I moved, I was in a world of hell. I was not in a good place. I was pretending I was. I was ignoring all of the trauma I had went through. But along the journey, I started to heal. I started to process. I started to allow myself to feel what I was really going through. And I started to open up, and I started to open my heart, and I started to cry, and I started to try new things, and I started to be alone, and I started to just start. I just started. I just started to do things that were different that I never did. I stopped things. I stopped toxic behaviors. I moved forward. And sometimes moving forward feels like you're stepping backwards. And I had many of those moments. I took 10 steps back. I took 10 steps forward, and then I took 3 steps back. And I took 3 steps forward and 3 steps back. And there were many times along my journey that I just felt like I was spinning my wheels and I didn't know what was happening. But I knew I was continuing to go. I knew that I was continuing to spin, and I never gave up. I never allowed the wheel to stop. And that is such a beautiful thing, and that is such a beautiful part of our human journey. And as long as you're willing to continue, as long as you're willing to keep going, to get up, to fail and get up, and fail and get up, and fail and get up, eventually you're going to have your breakthrough. It is what is meant to happen. We are meant to go through adversity, because to get to greatness, you have to go through stuff that's really hard sometimes. You have to really go through the darkness to find the light. And progress is not linear. Progress is not something that just is a straight line and you never have your ups and downs. Man, you're going to have your ups and downs. That is a part of this journey of life. And it is how we grow, and it is how we expand, and it is also how we prove to ourselves that we can go through hard things. And then on the other side, we can help someone else. And that is really where my journey is leading me. That is really where I am being led to, is just to share, to help people, because I have felt it. I have been going down the wrong path, and my path was completely corrected. I was shaken to my core. I had lost everything, and I have rebuilt. I've been through it. My tower has been built, and my tower has come crumbling down, and I have been rebuilding my tower ever since. And it is a new foundation. It is what is meant to happen. We are meant to build on a new foundation that is stronger, that is better, that is more secure, that is a new version of ourselves. Did you know that every 7 years, your cells in your body completely regenerate? Did you know that every 7 years you are a completely different person? It makes sense. You go from 0 to 7, and you're a child, and you have this little voice, and then at 7 your voice starts to change. It starts to get a little bit smarter. It starts to get a little bit older. It starts to get more, you start to have more vocabulary, and the people that have watched you grow up, they're like, wow, you're getting so smart, because you are a completely different person. And then when you're 7 to when you're 14, you are a completely different person. You go through puberty, you completely change. You are a different person. 7 to 21, When you are 7 to 21, you are a completely different version. Every 7 years, we continue to go through these things that our worlds reshape. We reshape. We are a completely different version, and it is meant to happen. It's like the snake that sheds its skin. It's like the caterpillar that becomes the butterfly. There's so much in nature that teaches us the process of life, and we have completely discarded nature. We've been taught, we've gone to schools and we've been inside buildings and, nature's stripped away and we don't learn, we only learn little things here and there, but we don't actually get to look at nature until we get older and we get to decide how we want to learn and what we want to learn and what we're going to give our attention to. And so I really think that it's a testament that it's okay. And every 7 years, you can look back and see that you're a different person. I'm going to be 31 in May next month, everyone. So if you want to send me presents, DM me and I'll tell you where to send them. But I'm going to be 31. And 7 years ago, when I was 24, you guys, I've shared my story on my podcast of when I was 24, but OMG, when I was 24, I could tell you right now, I was not living this life. I was living a whole different life. I was doing things completely different. And now 7 years later, I'm different. I feel like the butterfly. I feel more of my true self. And it's just a testament of life. It's what we're supposed to go through. And, as we get older, we learn and we grow and we transcend. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's amazing. And so for anyone that is on a path right now and you're feeling lost and you are feeling scared or depressed or unsure, I can tell you just to keep going. And what I want to talk about next is to really focus on your vibration. Now, if you've been along my journey, you know that I've been on a spiritual journey since I started my podcast, and I've learned so many things. It's so amazing. Like, it's just so incredible to be where I'm at now and to be where I was. And I was pretty lost, but now I feel so much better, and I'm just so excited about what the future holds, where I'm going and what's going to happen in my life. But what I've really focused on are my thoughts. And I do believe that I've manifested lots of things in my life, but I never knew I was manifesting. I just thought it was all mindset. I didn't know it was like an actual law of the universe. And so when I started to learn and I started to really open myself up and, just really be like, is this stuff real? Like, this whole manifestation thing, is this real? Like, I don't know. But again, like, I see so many people doing it. So if they can, I can, and I really started to watch my thoughts, and I really started to focus on not controlling my thoughts, but guiding my thoughts. And when I would have thoughts that didn't really feel good, I learned to start focusing on things that felt good. And then when I feel good, it's easier to guide my thoughts to make sure that my thoughts feel better, that they feel more empowering, that they feel more uplifting to me and not so filled with fear and scarcity. Okay. So I started to really reach for what felt good in my life. Friends, what I was listening to. That's why I love EDM music. I also, there's some other music I like, but like, okay, for instance, country music. I used to really like country music. But then I started to listen to more country music and I'm like, this stuff's sad. And it's about breakups, and it's about drinking, and it's about a lot of chaos. And there's a lot of beautiful country, of course. But like when you just turn on country, it's the feelings you get are very mixed. They're very emotional. It's a lot, right? And so when I discovered EDM, it just all felt happy for the most part. Like there's obviously some breakup songs, but the beat and the way it made me feel just made me feel so much better. And so that's why I just love EDM music. And, I have friends that don't like it. And I'm like, I don't understand how you guys don't like this. Like the way it makes me feel. And like, that's where I'm at in my life. I am trying my hardest to feel the best I can feel, because I've learned that when I feel my best is when I can really manifest what I want. But when I feel low and when I feel things I don't want to feel, I'm still manifesting that, because the law of attraction, we live in a universe that is attraction based. So what you think about, you get. And if you're thinking about negative things and what you don't have, you're going to continue to get that, because it is the law of this universe. And it is such a weird thing. Like it really took me a long time to like wrap my head around it, but I finally feel like I am cracking the code. It really is all about the way you feel. And if you can just feel better, if you can put yourself in a higher vibrational state and you can feel better, you will start to get new opportunities. The synchronicities start to show up different in your life. The things that happen in your life start to change because you're feeling better. You're not allowing your external circumstances to keep you at a lower vibration. And this stuff does take time, but it's just a little bit of a learning curve. It's just a little bit of retraining your mind and your subconscious and really focusing on guiding your thoughts to what makes you feel better, that will help guide your thoughts to a better place so you can raise your vibration. And vibrational alignment, being at a place where you are aligned vibrationally up here at a higher realm, so that you can really start to manifest more. And when you are vibrating higher, you start to attract other higher vibrating human beings, and you start to get different opportunities. But you have to feel better. You have to guide your thoughts to a better place. And if you're at a place where you feel really stuck and you feel really low, what I encourage you to do is to figure out a way to feel better. And I know I said that and it sounds simple, but one, I know it's not, because I've been there. I've been at a place where even during this podcast, there have been times during this podcast that I did not feel good. I was vibing low. I was not where I am today. But once I just started to learn, and I really started to dive into spiritual teachers. I started to listen to people that really inspired me. And I just started to fill my mind with things that just started to teach me, because I knew like I have to feel better. It was like this knowing inside, like my inner being just kept leading me and guiding me, even though I didn't 100% understand what was happening. I kept being led, and I kept focusing on what I was being led to. And it's crazy how I just kept getting key after key after key to help me raise my vibration. And I did even explain in a couple shows ago that I started to like do my makeup and listen to music because it made me feel better. And it's something as simple as that. It's something as simple as going to a coffee shop and getting a cup of coffee. It's something as simple as going to a park, sitting on a swing and playing a podcast or playing music, anything that makes you feel better and that gives you knowledge is what I did to help me elevate myself, to help me elevate my mindset, because I've been at very low places and really had to just start figuring out ways to reach for something that made me feel better. And maybe you don't have anything in your life that feels good. So you got to make some changes. You got to do some inner work and inner listening to figure out what's going to make you feel better. But you take one step at a time. You allow one thing to speak to you at a time. And when you do that and you start to open yourself up, more things will reveal to you. They will reveal themselves to you to help you start on another path. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's working out. Working out, we tend to have like a hate relationship or love-hate relationship with working out. And I get it. But working out is something that really does raise your vibration quickly. Like I even said recently, like I haven't really been in a place where I've been wanting to like work out and train really hard. And this morning when I woke up, I was like, I'm going to get up, and before I drink my coffee, I'm going on a run. And I love taking my dogs and they love it, but I needed some time to just like get out. I needed to go on a run. I needed to get the energy in my body flowing so I can start to feel the best immediately when I wake up. And I just listened to a podcast. I listened to some Abraham Hicks, which is like one of my favorite things right now to listen to. I'm learning so much about the vibrational universe and just like how we are spiritual beings and we are source energy and we are meant to come here and create and be. And it is definitely a learning curve. And when I first started listening, I didn't really understand what was happening, but I just continued it because it made me feel good. It was like the more I'd listen, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, but when I listen to this, it makes me feel good. So I just kept going and going. And I was reaching for what makes me feel good. And that's what it's about. It's about reaching out and finding what makes me feel good. And when I find something, I grab onto it for as long as I can. And then I reach out for something else. And that is so beautiful. And it has brought me so much peace. And it has brought me so much clarity. And it has brought me to a place in my life where, for the first time, I really don't feel like I need anything but me. And I just want to continue to reach for what makes me feel good, because the more I do it, the more that comes to me. And it's like I'm becoming a magnet. It's so crazy. Like I'm learning about, really learning about the law of attraction. I'm learning about this vibrational universe, and I'm really doing these things that I'm talking about. I'm really genuinely passionate about this, and I'm still learning. I'm like so small on the scale, but it makes me feel so good. And it's like, even by me doing these things and just continuing to listen and open up and just believing in it, my business has really skyrocketed. I mean, I am flowing. I've like, even today, I have one of the biggest listings of my life. It's a luxury listing coming up. And I'm so thankful. And the clients, I feel so close to them. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And I just feel like it's really elevating me. But I was there from 11 to 5 because I did a huge marketing campaign with video and photos and all these things that you need to do to sell a house. But I've been really tapping into this stuff, and it's been reflecting in the way I make money on like a huge scale. And ever since I moved here and been restarting my business, it's been a very interesting process, and it's really tested me to my core. But now that I'm learning so much about spirituality, true spirituality, and not religion, but actual spirituality, actually being divine, actually being source energy, understanding that I am energy. I'm energetic. And when I give out energy, it comes back to me. And I'm seeing this like on a different scale. And I know it's just the beginning, and I know there's so much more coming, but it's because I'm aligning myself, and I feel like for the first time in my life, I am truly aligned and becoming a match for who I'm really meant to be, and not just one version of myself. I'm becoming a multi-dimensional version of myself. I'm becoming someone that can elaborate and expand and love deeper and love more and show myself so much more than just one thing. And we are taught to just be one thing, to just have one career, go to college and pick one thing you want to do for the rest of your life. But that doesn't make us happy. It doesn't make us whole, because we're meant to be expanded, and there's layers to us. We're meant to have layers and facilitate the layers and learn the layers, and to take the waves and go with the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of life, and not just be one thing. We are meant to be multi, like a rainbow. We are meant to be and give our energy to so much and not just one. So, I want to talk about vibrations. And we can be vibrating low, which really slows down. When you're vibrating low, that's like the depression, that's the fear, that's the anxiety, that's the what do people think about me? Am I performing okay? That low energy. The low energy is going to keep you stuck for a long time until you raise. And the medium energy is, okay, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. I'm on a walk. I see a little bit more colors. I made a new friend. I have a little bit more clarity about maybe my future, what I want. You're higher than the low. You're in that middle space. And then when you get to that high vibrating, that's when life starts to change. You're listening to music that pumps you up, that amps you up, that the thoughts in your head are, I can do anything. I can be anything. What do I want? Where am I going? Like, how can I create? How can I be the best version of myself? And you are starting to really amp that high vibrational energy. You're meeting new people. You're out and about. You're getting new ideas. You're creating more. Like, there are these levels to vibration. And we live in a society that wants us to be vibing low, and then everyone else wants to be vibing high, and then they just take from us, because then we never actually start to create. We never start to learn who we are, what we want, where we want to go. And then we can't create because we're vibrating so low in that depression, anxiety, fear. But when you force your energy by focusing on what makes you feel better, you automatically start to raise your vibration so that you can start to be the creator that you're meant to be. We are creators. We came here to create. It is why we are here. We are supposed to come here and create. We are divine beings. And until you learn that cracking the code to this matrix that we live in is really about your vibration and lifting your vibration and forcing yourself on focusing on what makes you feel good, you're not going to crack the code. You're going to continue to be vibing low. But for me, I literally had to force myself to vibrate high, and I had to force myself to continue to feel better. And again, it was just like learning from other people. Like, what are they doing? How can I do it? Okay, they said to wake up every morning and go on a run. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to implement that. That's one thing I can implement. Okay, they said to stop listening to depressing music and rap music that talks about women and degrades them and degrades people and has this really low vibration. Okay, I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to try some other music. That's another thing I can implement. Just little things you can implement that you can shift and change in your reality to help you vibrate higher, to help you get to the next level, to help you raise your vibration. Because again, we live in a vibrational universe, and we attract what we think about, and we attract what we are. And you cannot attract anything better if you are not focused on the thoughts you think. And you cannot focus and become a magnet for being your best. The law of the universe is the law of attraction. It is one law. There are many laws of the universe. I will talk about other ones, but you are a magnet. And if this is new to you and you've never really heard this, or you've never really understood it, just start to do some research on the law of attraction. Just go on YouTube. The amount of videos on the law of attraction. Start with watching the movie The Secret. Pretty sure it's free on Netflix. Just read the book The Secret. Like, it is kept secret because the more that they can keep us vibing low, the more we're trapped. But being trapped is a choice. We don't have to choose that life. We can choose to pluck ourselves out and be the creators we're meant to be, but we have to start using the law of attraction, and you have to start to attract better and vibrate high and become a magnet for what you want. And if you want to feel better, you got to start acting better, and you got to really focus. You have to really focus on feeling better. Feeling better. Just focus on feeling better. So get ready, put on cute clothes, mix up your wardrobe, clean up your house, clean up your room, make your bed in the morning. What can you do to feel better? If you have all this clutter and all this stuff around you that doesn't make you feel good and it makes you feel like you're filled with chaos, that's what you're going to get. You're just magnetizing chaos by having chaos constantly around you. How can you feel better? You just got to take one step at a time. Your thoughts immediately start activating dominant thoughts, and your dominant thoughts start to attract into your life. So if you have practiced thoughts of fear and depression, you really have to start practicing new thoughts. And you have to do anything you can to distract yourself and almost become delusional. Like you have to just like stop telling that same story because you're in a loop. You got to start a new loop. You got to start a new story. But when you have these practice thoughts, they become dominant. And because we live in an attraction-based universe, you just continue to attract those dominant thoughts. So you have to interrupt them. You have to start meditating. You have to quiet your mind for 2 to 5 minutes a day. And if you can do it in the morning and night, you're going to start to change your life. But you have to start interrupting that loop. You have to stop with the negative practice thoughts and you have to create something new. And you can do it because I've done it. And if I can do it, you can do it. And if they can do it, I can do it. And if they can do it, you can do it. So when you continue your focus to activated thoughts, the law of attraction is at work. When you continue to focus to your activated thoughts, whether good or negative, the law of attraction is at work. So again, how can you feel better and focus on that? And allow yourself to accept the goodness. Stop resisting it. Change the loop. Change what's going on. Interrupt that cycle. And allow yourself to start telling a new story. Allow yourself to become a new story. Be the one that breaks the generational curse in your family. Believe that you can do it. Because if you're listening to this, you're meant for it. You're meant to be the one that breaks it, and you start to change the trajectory of your lineage. You start to teach something new. You change that loop. You change the cycle. It's our time. It's our responsibility to change it. We are awakening to a new world, to a new life, to new thoughts. And there's so much out there. There's so many books. Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. That's the one I just started. You Are a Badass. There's 4 series that she has. Great self-help book. Mel Robbins, High 5 Habits. There's so much knowledge out there for you, just waiting for you to tap into. And you can do it. You're meant for it. So, again, focus on what makes you feel good. And stop focusing on what makes you feel like trash. Stop focusing on what makes you feel unworthy and depressed and sad and angry. Change your mind. Change the loop. Change your family. Change your destiny. You're meant for this. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for tuning in to my 40 third episode of Whitney's World podcast. Please, if this message resonated with you, please leave me a comment on YouTube, message me on socials. I'm there to support you guys. I'm so excited about what's coming up, personal development. There are so many cool things that I know are going to continue to come to me, and I'm very excited. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share it with anyone you know. And please leave me a comment. I really want to know if this resonated with you, if you're practicing the law of attraction, if you really haven't heard of it, if you have changed your life by the law of attraction, if you've changed your soul, yourself. I really want to hear from you guys. I love you guys so much. I'll see you next week. And as always, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go.